Part 3 of the 4 immigrants video playlist. I'm an immigrant. I've been here in America for about 15 years now. I have my citizenship and I've decided to make this playlist for immigrants who come here to America or anyone who's interested in moving here. What do you need? How does things work? So make sure you subscribe to not miss out any of these very useful videos. So in this video I'm going to talk about how to buy a car. In my previous video I talked about what credit score is. Very important. In this video I am going to talk about how you need good credit score to buy a car, especially if you're financing, meaning you pay monthly. So I'll put a link down below, but search for my playlist for immigrants, and in there you can find all the other videos. Credit score is very important when it comes to buying a car. So let's get to it. So one of the first things a lot of immigrants do when they come to America is have to buy a car. I mean, unless you live downtown, like in New York, where there's subways and more transportation. But in California or in Texas, you're not gonna have a lot of those, or in Florida. The bus system here works completely different than in Europe. Some buses come every couple hours. Car is something you gonna have to get at one point. A lot of people look for the cheapest option, which is Craigslist. On Craigslist, you can buy used car for cash, which usually never ends well. I had a friend who bought a car on Craigslist for $4,000, and on the way home, the car broke down. So he had to get it towed to a mechanic. The mechanic looked at it and said that if you ever drive this car, the engine will explode and you will die. So, not the safest option to buy on Craigslist. I know it's cheap. Yeah. Try to stay away from Craigslist as much as you can when it comes to buying something so serious like a car. Yes, my friend could have inspected the car, but that costs extra money. Like, that's a couple $100 more. The safest way is through a dealership because they do a pre-check before they sell it. If they don't, you can sue them. So it's safer for them to check the car for safety before they sell it to you. If you are looking for a specific brand like BMW, Ford, Toyota, Hyundai, go to the dealership. The BMW dealership, the Ford dealership. If you're looking for a specific car, it doesn't matter if it's brand new or used, they're gonna have both. And more likely, they're also gonna have different brands in the used car section. Now, if you go to a dealership and you're gonna finance, which means you borrow money from a bank and that money goes to the dealership to pay off the full price of the car, and then you pay monthly to the bank. They will look at your credit score, which I talked about in the previous video. The credit score is basically a prediction of how likely you are to pay your credits back on time. So if you have good credit score, they're gonna approve you very fast. If you have a bad credit score, they could approve you, but they will put a bigger percentage of interest, which means that's extra money you have to pay monthly to them. If your credit score is on the lower side, look for a cheaper car because it's more likely they will approve you for a cheaper car that's used. Unless you're paying cash. If you pay the full car's price in cash, no one's gonna look at your credit score. Second option is two very, I think the most popular used car dealership in the country is CarMax and Carvana. They are pretty much all over the country and you don't even have to go to the dealership. You can go on their website like carmax.com and search for the brand, the exact brand you are looking for. Let's say you are looking for a Ford SUV. You just type in Ford SUV and it will show you all the Ford SUVs they have. You can select the color, the transmission, and you can see the price and see what fits in your budget. Again, if you're gonna do finance, they're gonna look at your credit score. If you're paying cash, they don't care. Now, down payment. This is cash, your personal cash, you will put down for the car. It's up to you how much cash you want to put down, unless they have a minimum cash down payment. Like maybe the minimum cash down payment is $1,000, or maybe it could be $500. If there's no minimum down payment, you don't even have to pay down payment if you don't want to. But how does down payment work? So let's say I want to put $5,000 down payment. Okay, here's $5,000, swipe card. That $5,000 will be deducted from the car's price. Let's say the car that I want costs $10,000. I pay $5,000 for down payment. Now the car only costs $5,000. For that $5,000, I can get approved very easy. Very easy. Even if with a low credit score, they're gonna approve you very, very easy. And then you will pay the bank monthly for that $5,000. There's also car auction dealerships. Same concept as CarMax, but here you can negotiate the price a little bit. You can also negotiate a little bit at the dealership, but most likely it's gonna be a no. At the car auction, let's say you see a scratch on it and you say, well, that's a big scratch, I don't like it. I want $500 deducted from the price for it, and then I'll buy it. So with them, you can negotiate a little bit, and it is usually gonna be cheaper than CarMax or Carvana. Now, the last step, of course, you have to have a driver's license. That's a whole nother video. For the last step after you bought a car, now what? You need car insurance. If you are financing the car, the bank will have requirements for the insurance. Like you have to have this, and this. And your coverage has to be at least the amount of something, like $50,000. So you have to buy car insurance based on the requirements from the bank. Once you pay off the car is completely paid off, it's yours. You can set your car insurance to any price you want. You can set it at the lowest, and your monthly car payment is gonna be cheaper. The last thing I wanted to mention, there's two types of car purchases. You can either buy it, what you finance monthly, or you can lease it. Now leasing is gonna be cheaper, but it's gonna be more expensive. So when you buy a car, you buy it for like 5 years. You're gonna finance it for 5 years, and they spread the whole amount of the car, the price, for 5 years. So you're gonna pay monthly for 5 years. When you lease, you're only paying half of the price for the car, when you lease, and you're only leasing for 2 or 3 years. So for these 3 years, you're paying a smaller amount for the car, but your insurance is gonna be a lot higher. So it's cheaper on the car payment, but it's more expensive on the insurance. And after 3 years, you have two options. You either return the car, okay, I drove it for 3 years, here, you can take it back, and you have to buy another one. Or you can purchase it and pay off whatever remaining the car's price is, because during the lease, you only paid half of the car's price. Now you have to pay the other half if you want to buy that car. See, when you buy a car, after you pay it off, it's yours. You can drive it for the next 20 years and not have car payments, which is great. When you lease, you have to return the car. Also, with leasing, there is a maximum of 10,000 miles per year. You can drive it for 10,000 miles per year. So in 3 years, that's 30,000 miles, unless you buy extra miles. I did lease a car once. I ended up buying it, and I bought extra mileage. So my limit was 12,000 mile per year, but I paid for that 2,000 extra mile. And if you exceed your mileage limit, they will charge you per mile for the extra that you drove. So that's the way of buying a car here in America. It's easy, but it's a little bit of paperwork and a little bit of time. These are the things that it's the basic information you need to know. I've had 7 cars. 7 cars by now. Yeah, so I got some information up in here, and it was the same exact process for every car I bought. I went to a dealership, they looked at my credit score, it was good, I got approved, I paid monthly. I either traded the car in when I wanted a new car, or, well, one was an accident that was totaled. But yeah, when you're done with the car, you can trade it in to sell it to the dealership, and they will deduct the price you sold it for from the next car you buy. So that's pretty much it for this video. Credit score is very important when you are buying a car. So if you have not seen that video, make sure to go check it out. It's in the playlist for immigrants. I hope this video helped. And if you have any questions, let me know in comments down below.